Welcome back to Identity's YouTube series. In this particular video, I would like to discuss how to create custom brushes and how those techniques can be related to creating patterns likewise. So what you want to do first is have Photoshop open. Next thing you're going to do is go to your Files tab and create a new canvas. For this particular exercise, I have chosen a canvas of 500 by 500. Now, before you do anything, create a new layer and then rename that layer to brushes. When you are making custom brushes, you generally do not want to have a background. You always want to keep your brush layer set on a transparent layer above the original background layer that came with the canvas. Now, I know some of you guys are wondering, how exactly do you create brushes in Photoshop? What tools do you use? How do you create something from nothing? Well, the answer is simple, my friend. You don't technically need to create something from nothing. I mean, Photoshop gives you a wide array of brushes to choose from already. So essentially, do yourself a favor and don't reinvent the wheel. Now, right-click on your canvas and select the already preset brush in order to create your new custom brush width. And now, commence your doodling. Oops, I chose yellow. Well, generally, you don't want to have light colors when you start creating custom brushes. Always make them dark tones and dark colors, hence why I chose black. We choose darker colors because it's more visible. And quite frankly, when you're making custom brushes, you want to preserve as much detail as possible. Once you are done doodling, I would suggest that you duplicate your brush layer one or more times and then merge down. Make sure that you do not merge your transparent brush layers with your filled background layer. Merging down is Ctrl E on PCs and Apple E on Macs. Delete your filled background layer. Now, the reason why I suggested that you guys duplicate your brush transparency layers is because each duplication ensures a more visible outline of your custom brush. I would suggest that you put a cap on duplications because duplications are essentially doubling the visibility of your original layer. Thus, if you do it more than 3 to 4 times, it becomes cluttered and you tend to lose more detail than you obtain. Now, what I want you to do next is go to your Edits tab at the top, drop down, and select Define Custom Brush. Next thing you know, a window will pop up. You then name your custom brush whatever you would like, and then select OK. Congratulations! You just created your first custom Photoshop brush. Now, you don't need to save your project file for your custom brush because essentially it's already saved. So, exit out that, and when it asks you to save, just click no. Next, I want you guys to create another 500 by 500 pixel canvas. Set your cursor over the white canvas layer, right click and bring up your brush presets. And voila, there's your custom brush. Your custom brush is automatically saved onto your default presets so that you can use it and bring it up on a later time. Alright, that's that. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to create a custom brush from an image. Go to Files, Directory, and locate an image of your choosing. Next thing you want to do is actually use the Square Marquee tool and encase a portion of the image that you would like to create your brush out of. Next, go to your Edits tab and select Cut. Now go back to your 500 by 500 pixel canvas and go back to your Edits tab and select Paste. Now that you have pasted your image onto your canvas, the next thing you want to do is actually select your Magic Eraser tool and then click on a portion of the image that you do not want included on your custom brush. Usually those portions are generally the background. So as you can see here, I got rid of my gray background and now my yellow shirt is a transparency by itself and it's not bordered by squares. This is ideal for a custom brush because, as I mentioned earlier, custom brushes are best utilized without borders. Borders tend to detract from the overall value of a custom brush by limiting it to uniform structure. You don't want this with a custom brush because generally brushes tend to be blending. They're meant to blend into the background and whatever surface you apply them to. Now that you are done with that, go to your background layer, right click it and delete it. Next, go to your Edits tab, drop down and define brush. Name your brush and select OK. Kudos, you have just created a brush using an image. What I'm going to show you guys next is how to create patterns from your custom brushes or brushes in general. Now what I want you to do is go to your Files tab and create another 500 by 500 pixel canvas. On this canvas, I want you to use your brush, right click on the canvas and select your newly defined t-shirt brush or image brush that you have just created. What I am about to do now is something that you should prohibit from doing in all circumstances, especially when you are working in Photoshop. As you can see here, I have applied my t-shirt/image brush on top of a filled canvas. This is generally a bad idea because when you apply a brush on a filled canvas, you can't really distinguish and separate the brush from the canvas, or at least Photoshop can't. Thus, you are stuck with one central image. This limits the flexibility of your design. So I'm going to actually undo all that and start with a blank canvas again, and then create a new layer, and then on top of that new layer I will apply this new t-shirt/image brush. Now that you have applied the brush, I want you to duplicate that brush layer and make the brush overall more visible. Next, you're going to merge the duplicated brush layer with the original brush layer and create one layer with double the visibility of the original brush layer. Duplicate the brush layer and move that brush layer to the left or to the right to fill up blank canvas space. Repeat the steps until the entire canvas is filled with your brush. What you're going to do next is actually merge all the duplicated brush layers into one brush layer. Make sure that you don't merge with the filled canvas background layer. You may repeat the duplication of brush layers to increase its visibility. Now, after you are done with that, I want you to go to the Edits tab at the top, drop down to Define Pattern, and select it. A pattern name window should pop up where you will name your pattern and click OK. Good job, you have just successfully created your first custom pattern. Now, let's actually test out our pattern. I want you to create a new canvas, but make it slightly bigger than your previous 500 pixel canvas. I would say 700 by 700, that's a pretty good size to test out the pattern. Now that your canvas is up, I want you to go to your Edits tab, drop down to Fill, and another Fill Box window should pop up. Go to your Use Drop Box and select Pattern. Next you're going to go to Custom Pattern and drop down and select the custom pattern that you have just created. After you're done, select OK. And voila! Your custom pattern has filled your 700 pixel canvas. Congratulations! And this concludes Identity Studio's second video for our Intro to Photoshop series. On a side note, make sure you guys check out our Facebook fan page as we hold weekly raffles in which you may enter to win free gear. Thanks for watching, remember to subscribe, and see you next time.